What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. I'm your host, Matt, and this week we are joined once again by Amy to talk the Music Man this time. Amy, welcome back.
Thank you.
Your first repeat appearance, second appearance on the pod.
Yeah, I am very
So,
excited.
yeah, didn't scare you off the first time.
No.
Good. Well, the reason we're having you back is because we're talking the Music Man, and I'm 90% sure it was in my head that when we recorded the last time, you mentioned that you had put on the Music Man and you enjoyed it. And so I'm like, I'm gonna ask Amy to come on back for the Music Man. I did not confirm it at all, but prior to this recording, you did send me pictures of you in
I
it, so
did.
I know I am right, and they will be in the YouTube. So there's a plug to go watch the pod
Great.
on YouTube instead of just listening on audio. You can
Well,
see the pictures. They're not embarrassing ones. I put embarrassing ones of me when I had a mohawk on here, so things happen. So since you have experience actually performing in the show, I figured we'd start out like we usually do on the movie reviews. This is going to be a little different one because we're going to mainly just be talking about the Music Man as a whole. So we'll kind of start with our familiarity and experience with it, and I'll let you kick that off. And then we'll go into talking about the show as a whole, and then at the end, I will kind of give my little mini review of the current touring production that I saw this week. So, with that being said, I'm going to kick it right over to you and let you just jump into when you were first introduced to the Music Man, your familiarity with it,
okay.
how many times you've performed it, how
So
much you like the T-Rex on your shirt.
it's Guar.
This guar.
So my very first introduction to the Music Man, I was probably a toddler and don't remember it. My mom and my sister were in it in our hometown when my sister was 5, I think. And so I knew the music. We actually had the like vinyl recording of the music. So when I was a kid, that was a thing that I would hear. So I knew the music of the Music Man before I knew anything about the story. And then I knew the story about my mom and my sister were in it. And so I could recite that story, which is a very short story when you're 6, saying, when my sister was 5, she was in the Music Man. Like, that's all I got. But then in 2015, our local theater company put on the production for the Music Man. And in 2015, I was still doing a lot of onstage stuff. So I decided to audition. I prefer to audition and be in the ensemble. I do not consider myself an actor or a dancer. I can sing. I don't even consider myself a singer. I can sing and I like to sing and I enjoy singing musicals. So I always just auditioned for the ensemble. And when I came home and told my sister, they're doing the Music Man, I'm going to audition, her response was, you have to audition for a Pick a Little Lady. And I looked at her and said, I have to do what now? Because I wasn't familiar enough with the show to understand what that meant even at that time.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look it up. She said to me, just do it. You're going to like it. It's going to be fun. I said, okay. So I get the audition information and I auditioned and then I got a role as one of the Pick a Little Ladies. So that may have been my first time being in a production where I had multiple lines. It was definitely my first time in a production where I had to submit a bio to our production company because
Nice.
I don't know that I had a name. Some of the Pickle Little Ladies have very, like, they're Mrs. This, they're Mrs. That. I
Yeah.
don't know that I had one of those. I couldn't find the program. I did try to find it
Okay.
before today, but I think it's in storage.
Fair.
But I think that it was just enough of a like semi-featured role. I had to do costume changes. I had 2 different outfits at least, maybe 3.
Nice.
So it needed a bio. And so that was really it was a lot of fun. And singing Pick a Little is very hard.
Yeah.
When I
I
rewatched the
was gonna
movie
say.
this week, I was like, that's fast. I can't do that anymore. um 10, 11 years ago I could do it no problem.
Yeah.
I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan and I think all of that talk fast in Gilmore Girls probably helped me prepare for that, singing that
Yeah.
role. And so it was a lot of fun and I think that it was probably 2 years after I had gotten back into theater as a grown-up. So I had made a bunch of friends with the people who were in the show. Our Harold Hill was somebody who I had been in Les Mis with. Our Marion was also somebody I had been in
Nice.
Les Mis with. So we had already become a little bit of a nice little knit family.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. And I really I really enjoy the music. I enjoyed those musicals, the musicals of that time, those early '60s musicals, the technicolor of it all.
Hmm.
I wasn't homeschooled the way you were, but I did have a bit of a sheltered childhood. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to watch a lot of stuff. We pretty much watched The Wonderful World of Disney, and that was it. Like, I didn't
Nice.
watch anything else. I have friends who were going to see RoboCop in the movie theater, and I'm like, "I'm 40 something, I still haven't seen it." Wasn't allowed to watch that as a kid. I was watching The Music Man and Babes in Toyland, so it's right up my
Yeah.
alley, and I know you and I have talked a little about how I prefer the older musicals,
Hmm.
because that's what I grew up in. So, um, it was a lot of fun. I think the music is really funny. I think the story is ridiculous. I think the music is really fun. It's very catchy. I appreciate that, you know, 40 years later or whatever it was, Family Guy did a Shipoopi
Uh-huh.
skit. That's really funny. And the first time I saw it, I think I may have screamed like, "Oh my God, what is happening right now?"
Hmm.
And I think my whoever I was watching it with at the time was like, "I don't understand what's happening." It's like, "Let me tell you what's happening." Um, Also, when I went and saw The Wedding Singer for the first time, and they actually do a rendition of "Till There Was You," I was also like, "Oh my gosh, I know this song too." So seeing
Nice.
how that has been put into other pop culture places throughout the years is really funny to me. So
Yeah. Uh, I haven't watched The Wedding Singer in forever, so now I feel like I need to
mm,
revisit it. It's a good time. It's a great
it's a great
movie.
movie.
Uh, I've revisited the "Somebody Kill Me Please" song multiple times. That's one of my
Oh,
go-tos. I'll send that out to people regularly. I'm okay, but I mean,
but it's the
somewhat, but
sentiment
I
is still
still,
there.
it's still great,
Yeah,
and it fits so many occasions.
yeah.
Um, and so was that the only have you worked behind the scenes of the production at all? Has your theater done it again
We
or
haven't done it again
no?
since. So when we did it in
Okay.
2015, it was the second time they had done it. They had done it 14 years
Okay.
prior. So I was not involved in
Nice.
that. So I do know that they send out a survey every year that's like, what would you like to see?
Mhm.
Here's what our options are. And
Yeah.
it came up last year, and I was like, I vote for the Music Man because I would enjoy working that this time around rather than being in it
Yeah.
this time. Or maybe, I could probably still be a pickle little lady. I am still of that age technically.
You could.
So maybe I would audition again and do it again. Like who knows? It's been a while since I've been on stage, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm prepared for that kind of commitment. I'm prepared for a stage, like
That's
a
fair.
crew commitment, because that's less. But
Yeah.
to be on stage, that's a bigger commitment than I'm not sure I'm prepared for.
You could be the mayor's wife.
I could be the mayor's wife. Our mayor's wife, she was so good. Chrissy was hilarious, and I really enjoyed her, interpretation of that role. That was great. So
Well, I do not have the depth of familiarity with the Music Man that you do. I had never seen or listened to the music of the Music Man until a couple weeks ago. Um, for some reason, it was one that my parents did not ever watch. Like when I was having to watch it, well, not having to, when I decided to watch it before this, so I had some familiarity before seeing it on stage. My parents came over and ordered some pizzas, and we watched it, and they had never watched it
okay.
before either. So we all watched it together, and I I have said it. I don't know how caught up you are on podcast episodes, but I did say it. When I watched the movie afterwards, I'm like, this is aggressively not for me.
I'm not
Usually
surprised.
because that's it. I think it is a textbook classic, like musical of that era.
Exactly.
You have the very clever lyrics. You have the patter songs with like "Pick a Little Ladies," and you got "Trouble," and even the opening song, the I think it's called "Rock Island,"
Mhm.
when all the salesmen are on the train and going back and forth. Where just some very impressive vocal
Exactly.
feats during it, and very impressive like orchestrations. But I think like a staple you see in the classic musicals that you don't see as much anymore is instrumental dance breaks.
Mhm.
um Big ensemble dance breaks. And also I feel like a lot of the newer musicals you don't even see that big of an
Yeah.
ensemble. Like, you really don't, especially on like, maybe in some of the Broadway ones, but, like, on the touring productions that I see, it seems like a lot of them go for more a compact one. This was the longest, playbill cast list that I have seen in my local show, where it took up 2 whole pages
Yeah.
with pictures. Most of the shows we've been seeing is 1 page.
Yeah.
There's not a whole bunch of townspeople, even ones that are like Back to the Future didn't even have this big. It's like, "Oh, well, there's 5 people in this town."
Yeah.
So, I thought that was, kinda neat to see. I will say it does have earworm, catchy
They're
songs that get
so
stuck in your
catchy.
head. "Shipoopi" has been stuck in my head,
So
and I don't know if
catchy.
that's, like, a little bit of the, like, middle school boy in me, like, creeping out, like, "Ha ha," they said Shipoopi. It just sounds silly. It
Yes,
sounds ridiculous.
absolutely.
Um, but and then, like, the 76 trombones, the classic one like that will get pop in my head, or the Wells Fargo wagon. Um, so I didn't have familiarity with it until I watched the movie. After I watched the movie, I was like, "Eh." But after I saw it live, and I even did the caveat on here, I'm like, this could be one that when I see it live, I'm going to enjoy it and appreciate it a lot more. And I do think that's what happened. Is it one that's going to make a regular rotation? No, I probably won't rewatch the movie, but I did think it was fun. It has a lot of charm. Um, it's still like it's a very well written and put together show. And I guess just some general historical facts about the musical. It is written by Meredith Willson, who is a man. Um, uh, Meredith Willson was inspired to write the musical by his boyhood home in Mason City, Iowa, growing up there. It was originally an early version of it was titled The Silver Triangle,
Oh,
and it focused on a partially paralyzed Jim Peru, not Winthrop.
okay.
And the people were wanting to like consign him to an institution for the disabled. And the plot revolved around Harold Hill kind of finding an instrument for him to play, and he found the triangle. Um, but they obviously went away with that in the reworks. And so it debuted on Broadway in 1957. And so there had been a total of 40 songs that they had written for the musical, and they ended up cutting 22 of those. Um, but it did win 5 Tonys,
Mhm.
including Best Musical, and it was going up against West Side Story the year that it won as well. It was orchestrated by Don Walker, Robert Preston, who plays Harold Hill, or Greg, whatever
Right.
his name is,
Yeah.
his actual name is. Um, in the movie, did originally play the role on Broadway as well. So he reprised his role from Broadway in the movie, the only one to do so there. In the movie, Marion Peru is played by Shirley Jones, um, and Marcellus Washburn is played by Buddy Hackett.
Yeah, and how
So
can you not
Marcellus,
like a movie that has Buddy Hackett in it? Like, I have never seen something with
exactly.
him in it and been like, "That movie was terrible." Like, no, I will watch him do
Yes,
anything.
yes, I would agree. He is entertaining as heck. I'm keeping with the appropriate language theme of the Music Man. Um, but and also in the movie, Ron Howard, good old Opie from Leave It to Beaver, or Richie Cunningham from Happy Days,
Not Leave It to Beaver.
is no Andy Griffith
Good
Show.
job.
Thank you, thank you. I'm like I said that, and I'm like wait, yeah, Andy Griffith Show,
Yes.
uh, and then Richie Cunningham in the Happy Days, and now the filmmaker
Yes.
and father of Bryce Dallas Howard.
I like that he's billed as Ronnie Howard in the movie. I
He
think that's
is as a
adorable.
child. Hmm. Yes, Winthrop's character, if you're not familiar. I mean, we're gonna do spoilers for the show, but we're not gonna talk all the details. Part of the plot is Winthrop, Marion Prue is the librarian that and music teacher that Harold Hill is trying to get on his side so he could hoodwink her. Then they fall in love. But her brother Winthrop has a lisp, and so he does not talk much, and also because he's dealing with his father dying. Um, and so that is the role played by good old Ronnie Howard. And he in the Wells Fargo wagon, when he starts getting enamored by the thought of playing the cornet in the band and it coming and he sings his verse in the Wells Fargo wagon, um, he is really just hitting those S's. And then also in the Gary, Indiana
Yeah.
song, when he sings his verse, he is spitting all
Spitting
over the place.
everywhere.
He is
Mm,
committed to his role of the little Winthrop. Winthrop doesn't seem like a very Irish name.
yep.
Um, no. Uh, my Winthrop was Asian, but Marion and the Widow Crew were still blondes and redheads.
Was your
So,
Winthrop like a
but he did great.
child? Was he like a
It was a
little kid? That's
child.
fun. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, he was little. Uh, yeah. So that actually, I'm going to switch what I said I was going to do. I said we were going to then talk about the show as a whole, and then I'm going to talk about this production. I'm going to insert, and I'm going to talk about the production that I saw. So this is and then we will talk about the show because I just want to call out some of the people, and I think that would make more sense to do now. Uh, this production, one thing I was very impressed with, because I feel like a lot of theaters, especially touring productions now, and I've talked about on the pod before, lean into and use the video
Mm,
displays and use that a little bit as a crutch for some of the scenery. And you're seeing less and less physical props on stage and set. And I think we even talked about that a little bit
yeah.
last time you were on. And this set of the tour, I felt like had the perfect combination of it, kind of framing the stage. There are, it looks like 6 panels on the outside, and they're video boards in there, but they were used to accentuate moments, put in some of the background, and there were still so many physical props and set pieces on stage, um, that I felt like it was a perfect blend of those 2. Like in You Got Trouble, when he's singing about the pool tables
Mhm.
and he's counting like the billiards pockets, it's popping up in the video screens.
That's
They had
fun.
nice little fun graphics there throughout it. There were devils in there too. It was a good time. I felt like it was very well done and used very well. They did have um, some of the backdrop was a little bit of a video board, but it wasn't like an obvious
Mhm.
one. It was just there to kind of accentuate so you're not dropping actual things constantly.
Yeah.
What are those things called?
Drops.
Enlighten me.
Drops.
Throps? Oh,
Drops. They're
drops.
just called
Oh,
drops.
perfect. Drops. I thought you said throp, and I'm like,
Mm,
that's a wicked
no.
thing. That's the
Uh,
the people's in there. So uh the role of Harold Hill was played by Elliot Andrews, and I felt like he was a perfect Harold Hill.
mm,
He was able to hit all the notes, just and the energy and the emotion, and kind of feel like a slimy salesman
right.
while also being endearing,
Endearing.
and you want to root for
Yeah.
him. Um, and so I felt like he was perfect. Like his You Got Trouble was amazing. And it, he just played it with so much heart. And man, he was sweating
Yeah.
in You Got Trouble. He was that many lyrics. You could see like the veins
Yeah.
and just strain. It was so good. It was impressive. A very impressive performance. That song I could not do. I
Yeah.
mean, there's many reasons why I could not do it, but I couldn't.
I feel like that role
But
is so animated and so like
it is,
you're a con man. You got to use your entire body to sell the story. And I feel like that whole role is like exhausting physically,
yeah,
vocally. It's just you got to put it all out there.
yeah, and is also in the Marion the Librarian song,
I
like
love that
that one
song.
has a lot of uh the
Yeah,
choreography and everything with that is amazing, and everyone was in perfect sync. I mean, you're in a national tour production, you should be.
yeah.
Um,
But it's hard. The
but the reason why
stamping of those books in time with the music,
yeah,
that's difficult. So,
yeah,
it's always impressive to see.
yeah, that's why I don't do stage acting for well, there's many reasons, but that's one of them. Um, and I think, most impressed, and my favorite performance was Elizabeth, Diautu as, Marion Peru. She just had an amazing and so powerful such a powerful voice, and like you said, the choreography and hitting the stamping and everything and the Marion the librarian, you bought her as being enraptured with him, but still yet being kind of she is also fiercely
Mhm.
independent, I feel like, that character, which you don't necessarily get a lot of in the classic
Yeah.
musicals necessarily. And I mean, at the end, that character, she does like her love for Harold. She stands by his side, and she even says like she's accepting of him just going on his way for what she had with him, um, which is also she's being the bigger person. But I just she was fantastic in this role. And then I have to also shout out Paul Uriola's performance as Marcellus Washburn, because that is a role like I was watching some YouTube videos this morning of like different productions of and versions of Shipoopi because it was stuck in my head. And so actually I went on there because I wanted to watch the Family Guy performance first because I'm not a regular Family Guy
Mhm.
watcher. I've seen some here and there, and one of my coworkers mentioned, yeah, the Family Guy did the whole
Yeah.
Shipoopi thing, and it was great. I'm like, I need to check that out, and I remembered that this morning, and so I watched it, and I went down a rabbit hole, and that role of Marcellus in Shipoopi, you have to have a certain energy
Mhm.
and stage presence, I think, to portray that and make it fun and believable that Buddy Hackett had, and that I thought Paul Areola on stage. I also could just be butchering these names. None of these people have normal last names. Andrews was a lifesaver, so appreciate that. But it was wonderful. It was one of my favorite performances of the show. It's just so fun, and the entire ensemble, and the dancers were amazing. There was this one guy that was tall, and I'm trying to think of a better word for lanky that sounds like graceful,
Yeah.
but I can't think of one right now. And he was like doing like a complete like back bend in the Marion the Librarian and like staying stuck there. His leg went over his head like this with kicks. It was wild. It was
Mm.
impressive. An insanely talented cast, and it was a very fun production. So, and one thing, because I wasn't as familiar with it, and I hadn't even listened to the Broadway album, which I usually do a little bit. All I'd done was watch the movie. I was also impressed that the movie is essentially a shot for shot remake
Yeah.
of the stage production.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like what we see with a lot of modern musical adaptations is they're trying to shorten it for time,
Yeah.
cut things, insert their own things, mix it up. And part of that could be the movie was directed by the director of the stage show, Morton
Mm.
DaCosta. He had directed the Broadway production as well. So he'd been with it since the beginning and had that connection to it. And so I think that helps
Yeah.
you want to bring in that level of authenticity and honor the show
There's a
as it
thing
is.
that makes me sad when they take and make a movie adaptation. I don't love it when they make new songs. I appreciate the idea of like wanting to make a new original song, but it always bums me out. And I like, so I agree. I appreciate the shot for shot and how it's you can see one and watch the other and see like, oh, this is exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And I don't mind new original songs when it feels right for the show,
Right.
but that is very rarely the case.
Yeah.
It feels like you're chasing awards, you're chasing
Right.
for, like, the best original song. That's
Exactly.
what it feels like most of the time. Like, that's how I felt with I haven't even fully watched the movie, but I've seen the clips, the live action Little Mermaid
Mhm.
with the new Lin-Manuel Miranda songs that he put in there. Do To me, at least one of them did not seem to fit the flow of the show, the vibe, the tone at all. Um, I feel like, good examples of ones that I did think worked well were in the live action Disney, Beauty and the Beast
Okay.
with the addition of the song Evermore that the Beast sings when Belle leaves. I really like that song actually, and, I like the anonymous ones in Dear Evan Hansen. I think it fits really well with the show, but it pissed me off because they added 2 original songs, but then they cut, like, 3 songs
Yeah.
from the musical,
And one of
and
them
so
is like your
that I'm
favorite
like,
or something, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't cut "Good for You" and then put in, yeah.
I've never seen
No,
it, so I know
I'm
nothing.
gonna get wild. I'm gonna get angry. But yeah, so I agree. I think there's something to be said, and that's why I usually, like I said on here, I tend to prefer pro shots
Yeah.
of musicals because you're getting to see it as like a pure version
Yeah.
of it, for lack of a better word, on stage. But I feel like more classic Broadway shows tend to maybe feed into movie adaptations better, it seems, or maybe it's just the approach to them back then, like trying to stay true and authentic to it.
Yeah.
Like this one, it was able to be adapted, so I felt like flawlessly to the screen, and it still felt like you were watching the same thing. Like on stage, being a like River City seems like a full town, even though you're watching it just there
Yeah.
because where all the scenes take place in the changing. But let's talk about the Music Man as a whole. So, you grew up listening to it, and then you were in it. What are some of your favorite things about the show? What makes it? What do you think makes it such a great classic musical?
I think the style of it is just so indicative of the musicals of the that I watched as a kid of the '60s, things that I was allowed to watch, and so for me, it just sits right there in that realm of nostalgia for me. I would rather watch something that is shot like that, something when it comes up, it has that whole shot in Technicolor because it was brand new in the
Yeah,
'60s, than almost anything shot today, unfortunately, and that really makes me sound super old.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, "I miss the old things. It was better then." I don't know if it was better. I just enjoy it more. The nostalgia, I
yeah.
think, really hits home. There is a thing about they bring back the same music with different lyrics or with no lyrics, and I appreciate that sort
Mhm.
of callback. We may have
Yeah.
heard Trouble in the beginning, but at some point we hear the music of Trouble throughout. People are running through the town or something else is happening. So I appreciate the
Mhm.
callbacks for those things. And I just find the the lyrics to be so catchy. I There's something about the way that they were written then. I feel like it was simple, even though they may be difficult to sing, even though they may be fast or the
Mhm.
octaves might be higher or something, but I find that the sentiment behind them is simple, and so it's easy for them to be an
Yeah.
earworm. There are also fewer of them. I feel like the musicals then, you have, between 6 or and maybe, 6 and 10, like, songs. Maybe you've got 4 that are really hitting home, and nowadays, you have 20 songs in a musical. You're lucky if I'm gonna remember one of them. So,
Yeah.
I just think that there's something to be said for the simplicity of it. I think also there is a simplicity of the time. This is a musical that
Yeah.
was, made in the '50s, in the '60s, but it was about a town in the early 1900s. There are no
Yeah.
cars. They were pulling things by the Wells Fargo wagon is a wagon. It's
Yeah.
not a FedEx truck. So, I
Yeah.
enjoy that simplicity as well.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things because yeah, it does take place in 1912. And you talked about he's graduated Gary Conservatory, class of
Yeah.
'05. Um, And
But it wasn't built till
that's
'06.
one of the things when that's right. And when he first encounters Marcellus again, is one of the things he's like, "You're no longer doing steam powered
Exactly.
wagons, steam powered cars." And he's like, "No." He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Someone
Somebody
actually
made
invented
one.
one."
Oh,
And so, yeah, it is a simpler time for sure. One thing that I do think though, watching this, and You Got Trouble, he does say that any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I do think we need to bring back calling people boobs.
I support this.
I do think that needs to make a resurgence in 2026.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would not be problematic at all, but it's just fun.
Oh,
It's we're yeah, I just that he says it, he's like, "Any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket." Uh,
oh,
uh, I do appreciate I also don't know the difference between a billiards table and a pool table. I took it there were more pockets. I picked up that,
yeah.
during the song, but I just the songs are a lot of fun. I think my favorites are definitely You Got Trouble, Pick a Little.
Yeah.
I think that one is just like just because it's impressive. Like that's what some of these I am just impressed with the performances that it's ha- like the closest genre to it is kind of
A
rap.
little bit.
Like
When you
really,
think
it
about
is the
Rockaway, like
speed.
that whole like doing it in time with the train and how it gets faster and
Hmm.
faster, and then they're doing it so quickly, and then they're slowing it as the train is slowing down. It's impressive.
Yeah,
It's something you
it
don't see
is.
regularly, I think.
Yeah. There are a lot of, like, fun, like, bits throughout it too, with him convincing the school board members to they start being a
Yeah,
quartet
who hated each other.
and
They make a point of
who
being like,
hated
"You
each
guys haven't
other.
spoken to each other in years, and now you're walking around town in the same outfits and you're singing everything. You're not even talking anymore."
Yep. And he's just, like, the gags of him then just distracting them and escaping by getting them to start singing
Yeah,
songs together. It's fun.
yeah.
It's just fun.
I also
Um,
think it's a movie about manifestation, if you think about it, which is a hot topic these days.
yeah.
People are more about, we're manifesting this and positive affirmations. Like for me, that's a little bit what this whole movie is about. He is manifesting this life for this town. Yes, he's swindling them out of hundreds of dollars, and that's a lot of money, but he's also manifesting
Mhm.
this nicer thing for them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's Marion's what she's saying at the end
yeah,
when he's like, "Okay, but think of what else you gave these kids a summer.
yeah.
What would they've been doing otherwise? I saw this town come alive." And that's her plea to the townspeople so he doesn't get tar and feathered, uh,
Mm,
which is also just like a wild thing. Like, we don't tar and
yeah,
feather
we should bring
people
that back too.
anymore. Yeah, bring back tar and feathering. Uh,
Mm,
and so, like, and it's a timeless, like, it came out in 1957 on Broadway,
yeah,
and it's still going. It's had multiple revivals. It had a revival in 1980, one in 2000, and then most recently, Hugh Jackman played Harold Hill,
yeah,
and Sutton Foster played Marion Peru in 2022 in that revival.
yeah.
So, there's also an old clip from I think it was the Jay Leno show where Hugh Jackman was on that I saw in my YouTube watching of The Music Man this morning, where Hugh Jackman was talking about that was one of the first thing when he'd been playing like rugby and decided to go
Mhm.
out for theater, and he played one of the salesmen on
On the
the
train,
train
that's
at the
fun.
beginning, and he sings like multiple parts of it
Yeah,
on, and like I said, it was back at least 13 years ago. It was on Jay Leno and Impressive. So like the role of the Music Man and him get it's kind of cool to see him get to do that on Broadway. Stunt casting is hit or miss, but I don't know that I really consider that a stunt casting because he did theater, did
yeah.
Broadway before and stuff like that. So, but I thought that was a neat thing he got to do. Um, we were talking last night about recording, and you made a comment about my notes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna wing it. And now I'm like, I feel like there were other things I wanted to say about
Uh,
this movie and the show as a whole. Oh, the Winthrop character is, I feel like, a very fun and sweet, and Amaryllis
Nah,
is,
that's a thing we should bring
uh,
back too. There are not enough people named Winthrop and Amaryllis. Like, could we bring some of that back as well?
the oh, it'll come back. Ethel Toffelmeyer. There's some fun names
There
in
are some
here.
great names.
Um,
Mm.
I it was, I said, I really this entire company that I saw live was great. I said, "This is probably more diverse than Iowa towns now are." Like, this is touring stage
Mm.
company, it was definitely, more diverse than it was in 1912, and probably it's the
Probably still,
Midwest.
yeah.
It is probably still. But everything was amazing. And I do feel like, while I don't know that I'll revisit and watch the movie a ton, there's uh Shipoopi's gonna at least be stuck in my head
Yeah.
all week. I'm already annoying the wife with it. Um her
Oh,
favorite song was "You Got Trouble," and she's not
yeah.
as big into musicals as I am, but she didn't love the movie, but she enjoyed it live and had a lot of fun with it,
Oh,
partially because,
good.
like, I like the music and the lyrics and the performances more, and the vocals,
Yeah.
that's what I gravitate towards. She likes the costumes and the dances. This gives you a lot more dance
Yes,
numbers
it
and
does.
scenes than a lot do. Like, that's another staple, I feel like, of the classic, like I said earlier, musicals that you don't get as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna have a 3 to 5 minute interlude in the middle of a song
Yeah.
that is just dance numbers and people showcasing their flips. It was great. It was
Yeah.
a good time. Um, do you have any other, I'm trying to think, and what are your favorite songs from it? You didn't talk about that. I mentioned mine,
My
but
uh, there's so many. Rockaway is great, and then the transition into Iowa Stubborn. I think Iowa Stubborn is hilarious,
mm,
and I relate,
it
like,
is.
as a human to so much of that. Every now and then when I hear it, I'm like, "Should I move to Iowa? Like, is that where my
No,
people" No, I should not move to the
nope,
Midwest.
I lived in Iowa.
Alright, I
Mm-mm,
should stay on the West Coast, it's
no.
fine here.
Yeah.
There is a thing about the song, the lyrics are like, "We'll say hello if we say anything at all." Like, yeah, that's really
Mhm.
funny, and I like that. Like, we'll be Midwestern polite if we are gonna do anything at all, but we
If we
might not
want
do
to, yeah.
anything at all.
Yeah.
Mary and the Librarian, and that is the song is catchy, but it's the choreography that goes along with that song, I think, is what
Mhm.
really makes it for me. Pick a Little is hilarious and holds a special place in my heart. Shipoopi is really funny, and the dance comes with that too, because the choreography for Shipoopi, both in my production and in the movie, it's very specific. You cannot miss a beat in that. When they're in the movie and they're dancing cheek to cheek, like, we did that too, and watching our dancers perfect that was just magical. Because it's hard at first. You're kicking each other in the shins. Like, you're
Oh, I
not
bet.
getting that right the first time out. It's difficult. So, yeah, all of the upbeat ones. The slower ones are fine and they're pretty and I enjoy them, but I wanna go to the theater to be, like, clapping my hands like my mother would. So
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I think, well, I would agree with that. There's definitely some shows, because 'cause I've talked to her, I like some of the, like, slower, sadder songs like that. Um, I don't like the slower romantic songs, though.
No.
Like, certain shows, I want more upbeat, and I feel like that's what fit this show
Yeah.
best, and that's where it really shines. And even just the finale, when everyone's coming together and doing the 76
Yeah.
trombones and marching around, and it is fun and has some magical moments. Yeah, the "Goodnight, My Someone," stuff like that, like, those aren't ones
No.
that are great for me. I was kind of curious, because a lot of times we'll see in some of these classic musicals, um, you'll see some rewrites in them as time goes on to make them a little bit more politically correct
I was gonna
in
ask you
some
about
ones.
that in your production. How did they handle the
I the Charlie,
the
the
scene? Yeah.
it's the same.
Okay,
There have been
good
no
for them.
changes. It was still the girly girl, and, uh, very cringy and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was the same.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate that because I understand that in 2026 it's inappropriate, but that we're doing something when it was not considered inappropriate out loud. Like it was still inappropriate. We
yeah,
just weren't talking about it and calling it inappropriate. And so
yeah,
I appreciate like depicting that time in history the way it actually happened still, which
yeah.
may be an
And I
unpopular
mean,
opinion.
yeah. And I mean, even some of the lyrics in like Shipoopi or the what something wow, now I'm blanking on the name. Simpler but wiser
Yeah.
girl. Simpler
Sadder
but
but wiser
wiser?
girl.
Sadder but wiser girl.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, I know it's an S word, but yeah, a sadder but wiser girl. Even like some of those
Yeah.
are a little bit like more not necessarily bad or inappropriate, but edgy sounds weird to say,
It's a
but
different
like
kind of edgy.
it's talking about you want a woman with an edge of sin.
Yeah.
So it's especially sadder but wiser is putting that a little bit more sleazy salesman
Yeah.
sheen on Harold Hill and setting up that character. Um Also just how much character development you have in a production. I do feel like that's something that a lot of modern musicals try to it seems like some of them try to go for, okay, we're gonna go with quick, faster paced things so that we can crank as many tourists through the Broadway production and capitalize as much as we want,
Yeah.
as much as we can by doing more shows, more productions, keeping it tighter, shorter. You see things like Six, that's an hour and a half long.
Right.
Like, stuff like that. You see some of those shows. I haven't seen Six. I've heard
I
it's
haven't
great,
either.
so I'm not knocking Six. No shade to Six, but things like that. And so having a time to fully kind of develop some of those characters, so you can see the different. Like I feel like Harold Hill is a very nuanced character throughout it, and part of that's the development he has in this by his what Marion has taught him and kind of awakened and opened up in him. Like I do really enjoy kind of the parallels you see at the end when he's debating kind of if he leaves or if he stays,
Yeah.
when he is singing like the 76 trombones and then she's singing goodnight my someone, and then he starts singing goodnight my someone, she starts singing 76 trombones. I really appreciated those like callbacks and things like that where you just see the kind of transition in their characters, how they both have affected each other and
Yeah.
the impact that they have had, and ultimately how it to steal from Wicked had changed him for good. So
Oh, that's cheesy, man. I do think
yes.
one of my favorite parts is, towards the end when she is like, "You can do this," and he actually is then conducting the boys, and the look on his face of like, "I can't do this. I know I'm a fraud. You know I'm a
Mhm.
fraud." And the look on her face is like, "I don't actually think you're a fraud. I think you can do this. I believe in you." And then to watch him, I mean, it's not the same stages of grief, but to watch his face go through those stages of,
Yeah.
"I can't do this. I'm petrified," to like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna do this," back to "I can't do this," and then to have that
Mhm.
confidence. And it's just, I think that's really fun to watch that character go through those arcs like all in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and even just the part on the footbridge, you see him go through all the arcs because when he's waiting for her to get there, he's like envisioning actually being a conductor and then realizing it's not. Then he has the moment, sings the nice, sweet love song with her. And then he's about to confess, like say, there's things you don't know. And then Marcellus shows
Yeah.
up and then he's back in salesman mode and wasn't going to tell her the whole truth, and then she reveals that she knew he's a
I've
fraud
known
all
you all
along, and then
along.
kind of going back. So he's going through all the stages of
Yeah.
roller coaster just in those moments in that inner battle and
Yeah.
turmoil. And then when he tells Winthrop the truth, you no good dirty
Yeah.
crook.
I do love
Yes.
that as well. Yes, you're right. I am.
I
You
do
wanted
like
the
that
truth,
moment.
didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So uh if I were ever if I could play any role in this show, though, it would be Marcellus just so I could do Shipoopi. So that's
Uh,
and that's I feel like it has some memorable parts, but it's a relatively low commitment part. Harold
Yeah,
Hill,
it's too much.
too much pressure. That's too much. No way in hell I'd want
Yeah,
to do that. Marcellus, just right.
yeah.
You got some memorable moments. You got have some fun. Oh, no, the one thing they did change. We were talking about politically correct, and it just came back to me. There in the original movie, the mayor's wife and the dancers
Okay, they did change that.
they do the Native
Yes.
American, that whole thing. That they did
Okay,
change. That she it's like Washington coming on a ship. So
okay.
she's dressed like
I
George
was wondering how did
Washington
they do that?
and a ship on stage. So they did change that, and I I think that's good.
I
That's what I'm
I
fine
can't remember.
with.
So I know it's been 11 years. I can't remember how we did that. I don't remember if we went the Native American route or if we changed it. Um, I have maybe blocked that scene out because I can't remember. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did it exactly as it's written because there's a thing when you do productions,
Yeah,
you
licensing.
can't change it. You can't even change
Yeah.
like one word. Like yes, you can screw up, but you can't purposefully like change a word. So,
Mhm.
however we got it is how we performed it. Um,
Yeah.
I we always get a video copy that like they would record them, and then we could purchase the
Mhm.
copy of the DVD. I would purchase the ones I was in, but I don't watch them. I've never seen a single
Fair.
thing that I've ever been in. I did like ballet and tap when I was a kid. I would watch those recitals, but
Nice.
anything from like 16 on, I've never seen any of that stuff. So there's
Mhm.
a part of me that wants to pull it out and find out, and then the other
Yeah,
part of me is like I'm just going to pull it out and make somebody else watch it and tell me what we did cuz I don't want to see me in
that's
that
fair
scene.
too. That's fair.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, I've heard that. I will sometimes I try to not go on social media and stuff as much because it's just toxic all
yeah,
the
I
time.
don't love it there.
Um, but every once in a while, I'll go and look at like Broadway or musical Reddit, and every once in a while, there will be one popping up where it's like, "Hey, my high school is putting on a production of Hairspray, and everyone is white."
Right.
And
How do we
then
do this?
you'll see people in the comments that are like, actually, like with licensing a show, there are
Yeah.
very like I've seen some about the very strict, like you can't take liberties
Yeah.
with things like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Like
hard.
with your performance, how you choose to portray that character, but like with the script and actual things like
Yeah.
that, you're
You're
paying, you're licensing
yeah.
that
You
production,
will
you're
get sued.
representing that production.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will get sued. Um, so that is an interesting piece of the theater world that I'm glad I don't have to deal with.
And I think that's probably why I could be totally wrong, but I often wonder if that's why some of the quote unquote classics are not being done as often anymore. I wonder like
Yeah,
our local high school they did Clue this last year and they're doing Hadestown and they are there's another newer one that they're doing I can't remember the name of. When I was in school, we were doing things like The Music Man and Pirates of Penzance and South Pacific.
yeah,
I don't know that you can get away with some of those anymore because of those licensing issues. So,
yeah. Yeah. That's why I've seen like a lot of local high schools. They're doing like Frozen and
yeah.
things like that. My local community theater. So I've got two close by. The one in town, they just announced their next season, and it is um the Aladdin Junior. Um, either The Grinch Who Stole Christmas or Elf Junior, some Christmas Junior one, and then they're doing Les Mis, and they're doing Dear Evan Hansen, and then they're doing the play version of The Great
Mhm.
Gatsby, not the musical Great Gatsby. So, uh, Clue, the musical, the high school did that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it? It's part of my upcoming Broadway season, and I have zero familiarity with it.
Yeah. I have not seen a stage production in full. I have
Okay.
seen the movie 100,000 times. The movie is fabulous. Um,
Okay.
because Tim Curry is in it and he's great.
Yes.
So, but
Tim
I
Curry
have
is
not
always great.
seen the stage production in full. I
Okay.
actually knew two of the kids in the cast, and I did not get to go see it, and I
No.
should be tarred and feathered. So,
Yes, tar and feather you. Away
um,
with you. Yeah. My other local community theater, they have a couple shows coming up. They have Something Rotten, which I am excited
Our
about.
kids' theater is doing
Um,
that, and I'm looking forward to that too.
nice. And then they've got Pippin coming out,
Okay.
which is a more classic one.
Yeah.
And they did Guys and Dolls recently was the one that kicked off. And so that's one I'm not familiar with either. I do have a very large blind spot when it comes to like more
Yeah.
classic musicals.
Well, that's why you and I make
So
a good team because you talk about a newer
it's
thing
true.
and I'm like, "All right, I gotta go find this and see it." And I am hammering
Hmm.
home like, "Why have you not seen Oliver? Why have you not seen The Music Man?
Yeah.
Go see The Music Man and think of me when you see the Pickle Little Ladies." So,
Yeah. I've never seen Oklahoma.
yeah,
Um, I I watched the movie of Ragtime thinking it was a musical, it's
it's
not.
not.
Um, nope, nope. There's the book, then the movie, and then it got
Yeah.
adapted into a Broadway musical. But I'm interested. Joshua Henry's performance of Wheels of a Dream, um, fantastic, fantastic. Joshua Henry has a fantastic voice, and they released a cast album of that. So,
Nice.
but they did not do a cast album of the last production of Hadestown, but they did release Jack Wolf portrayals of Epic 1, 2, and 3. So Orpheus, he put them out
Mm,
as like solo acoustic things on YouTube, and it's beautiful and
well, that's
amazing.
cool.
I did really enjoy Hadestown.
Yeah, I listened to that
Oh,
episode, and after listening to it, I was like, "I've gotta figure out when the high school is putting that on because I gotta go see it because
yeah,
I know
yeah.
nothing about it other than what I learned on the podcast." So,
Okay.
mm,
Okay, you'll have
I have
to give
homework.
your report afterwards. Yes, you have homework. And like I said on the podcast, that was one listening to the album, I didn't really get into it that much, but seeing it live, and that's one of the things I think is beautiful about live theater. It is a completely different experience, and you can have a completely different opinion and view on things.
Yeah,
So that's why I try to go into all of these with an open mind, even if it's not one that I would necessarily pick or would be the most excited about, because um, I mean, at the very least, you've got performers pouring their heart and soul out
yeah,
on stage that have put so much work and effort, and especially like these touring ones, you've got people who have been working since they were a kid
yeah,
doing theater with like a goal of doing something like this. And so you're getting to see people fulfill their dreams and just having a blast and having a great time together. Um, and I think that's something special too.
yeah, yeah,
So
and that's really great. I Part of me really wants you to get involved with your local community theater and, like, do a show and work backstage and do a show and be in the ensemble because it's a whole different vibe too, and
yeah,
you can watch it and see them pouring everything into it, but until you're going to those rehearsals and you're standing next to those people on stage, it's a very different understanding of how hard everybody is working, and
yeah.
I would love for you to experience that because it's just great.
Yeah, and I do want to like my goal within the next year or so is to one of the closer local ones get involved at some point. Like the one, not the Lincoln one, it's the Nebraska Community Playhouse, like 20 minutes away. They'll a lot of times they'll have like volunteers to like help, even just like help paint
Yeah,
sets and do things like
yeah,
that.
something
Um and just be there. And I'm like, that would be fun to do sometime. But they always do it in like the middle of the day
yeah,
of a
it's
work
hard.
day. And I'm like,
Yeah. Ours do that too. They're like,
yeah.
"Load-in is at 3 on Monday," and I'm like, "Cool, I don't get out of work till 4:30.
Yeah,
Have fun
yeah.
at load-in. I'll
So
see you when I'm off
mhm,
work."
yeah.
So,
So, do you have any final thoughts either about The Music Man or in general?
I will say I think that the our my production that we did here of The Music Man holds an extra special place for me because our Marion and our Harold actually started dating in the middle of the show. They had met years prior, but they started dating and then eventually got married and now they have 2 kids. And so that is
Nice.
adorable and a really fun extra story to tell about how the Music Man brought them together. And so I really like that. And I don't know how common that is. I don't know if that's happened in our theater company before, but to be able to watch that happen for them was really cute and really fun. And so it makes it extra special when people talk about the Music Man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think
It could just be a Music Man thing because I know there was stuff for a while, Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster.
I
That
know
was the
that,
whole thing
yeah.
because he got divorced and
Yep.
then that whole shebang. But really what that says is that one of them is like a really good kisser. And then when they kissed on stage,
They
they're
were
like,
like, "We're gonna
damn,
keep doing
lock
this.
this down.
I'd like
Lock
to
this
carry
down.
this through. Thank you very much."
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, I also think
Well,
that The Music Man is funny to me because for me in my life, it's got a lot of stuff we still say, especially like, we've got trouble. Like anytime my sister and I start a
mm-hmm.
sentence with we have or we've got, even if it's like we have to go buy toilet paper, the other one will just chime in with trouble right here in River City. And it's like, and then we're
Mm-hmm.
singing it. And for me, that's one of the great things about musicals is that I wish my life was more like a musical. And so I try to do that.
Yep.
Anytime I can break out into a song and a dance, that I'm gonna do it. My sister even said this year, she's like, 2026 needs to be more dance breaks. So now we're just like walking through the house
I like it.
dancing at each other because like
Nice.
I think the world would be a little bit more pleasant if there were more musicals every day. So
That's fair.
yeah. I'm not
That's
gonna be
fair.
doing high
Yeah.
kicks down my hallway because I'll hurt myself, but I
That's how you
will,
pull
yeah,
something.
I
Yeah.
don't have time for that, but I will gladly do a little song and a dance like while I'm doing the dishes now. So
There you go. Yeah, I always enjoy that. It drives my wife insane because just not just musical, but like song lyrics in
mm,
general. If you say anything that is in a song lyric, I will then
you'll
sing
pick
that
it up.
song. Yep, and that's why I told Sage, returning podcast guest as well. I was texting her. She said, "I got you on something," and that always makes me think of the song from Warriors, "We Got You," the which they are. That's the new Lin Manuel Miranda and Issa Davis. They're writing and they're doing a workshop for it, the adaptation
Hmm,
of the Warriors movie, gender swapped. And I love the concept album. And so We Got You is one of my favorite songs in it. And so anytime someone says, I got you,
it
even though
triggers
it's
that.
slightly different, it fits well enough.
Yeah, it triggers
It
that
has
in you.
got you, it has two of the three.
Yeah,
That's all. That's the threshold you have to hit. It
yeah.
has to be somewhat adjacent. But
I
um
yeah, I will say that,
no,
as far as a Music Man goes, anybody who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's fun, it's catchy, it's cute. Part of it, if you're just watching the movie, you're wondering, is this a fever dream? And that's also fun. If you can catch a
mhm.
local production of it, I would recommend that as well. Just the sets alone during some of those, especially during Trouble. Did your touring cast get to do the whole thing with the American Gothic painting?
Yes,
Because I
they
think
did.
that's a
They
really
sure
cute
did.
and fun thing. So
Yep.
if you get to see a live performance of it as well, it gets 2 thumbs up for me. So everybody should go see it.
I would agree. I think this is definitely, even if it's not necessarily your typical genre, if you're like me and you prefer kind of the more modern ones, live, it's amazing
Yeah,
and it's fun and you're seeing some impressive performances. If you are going to watch a movie version of it, I know there was a 2003 TV movie with Matthew Broderick and
right.
Kristen Chenoweth. Um, I have not watched that one in full, but I did see its performance of Shipoopi, and he's no Buddy Hackett,
No.
so I would say watch the 1962 original because you're also getting to see like Robert Preston, who originated the role on
Yeah,
Broadway, so that's always cool to see. And like I said, it's a faithful adaptation; it doesn't cut any songs,
yeah.
so uh, do that. Well, I don't have any other final thoughts besides, yeah, go see this. This national touring cast is amazing. So if you have the opportunity to see them, or like Amy said, if your local theater, high school is doing it, I know back in the day, my cousin was in a local community theater production of it and played Harold Hill. I did not go see him. I didn't live there at the time, but that's something that I have in my memory is that my cousin was in The Music Man. I remember it being a talk at the family reunion. So uh, Amy, thank you for joining the podcast again. Uh, Next old musical I see, you'll be invited to join as well.
I look forward to that. I'm pretty sure you just called me old and I'm not offended at all.
No,
I'm just
no, we
kidding.
talked. You said,
This
you
is true.
said that's the different
Yes.
trade off. So we'll see. At some point, I am gonna start revisiting some of the more classic ones. Because I need to. I need to mix them in, but I know I need to pace myself on
Yeah.
them because it's not usually my jam, and especially if it's just the movie version.
Yeah.
Um, I don't necessarily have the same nostalgia for the Technicolor popping up.
Yeah.
I'm used to a little bit more sheen on
A little more
things, if that
refinery
makes
when you're
sense.
watching something.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas for me, I'm
yeah,
like, I like the lines through it because you could definitely tell that it was actual film.
yeah, yeah,
I don't like it that clean.
exactly. That's fair. Well, I have no idea what's going to be what I'm going to do for next week's podcast. So if you're listening to this, you'll just have to tune in, subscribe on YouTube, follow Apple, Spotify, all that fun stuff. Follow on Instagram at Down Once More Pod. And I post there when the new episode's live. So you'll find out what it is there. But you should always just turn on notifications on YouTube and all those other fun things as well. Have it automatically download. I like it. Um, and my brain just like
Glitch
stopped
out.
working there. Like I did. I just glitched out. Like I'm like, "Eh." um, I haven't drank anything, and it's not even late. But I have been up since like before 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I've been up 10 hours.
Not
So
great.
it's
It's time for
close.
Matt to go take a nap.
Um, I was gonna do my taxes after this. That just seems like a
That's a
bad
bad
idea.
call, dude.
Yeah,
You need to sleep before you try to
get
do math.
audited. Yeah, yeah. Amy, thanks again for joining.
Thanks for having me.
You get multiple thanks now. So, uh, and nope, my brain glitched again. But this is a struggle. I'm leaving all of this in, by the way.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. No, thank you all. Love you all. Don't forget to go down once more. Later. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm gonna do the intro. I'm like, let's get into it. And I'm like, wait, I haven't actually.
You're the one who
officially
starts
started
that.
yet.
Oh, poor sleepy Matt.
And you'd think it's like midnight. It's 1 p.m. Okay, ready?
Right.
Okay. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More.